Hello, my name is Michael. I run the YouTube channel called Octoneon. Thank you for visiting. Okay, I'm not done with the bullshit. We're talking about Pokemon, and I'm gonna make a little theory real quick about Legends GA, the brand new Pokemon game from GA. If you don't know, it's for goes from Legends. It's a continuation of Legends Arceus. With you going instead of going to the past of the cow, you go to the future. 10 years in the future to be exact, after you become champion, or the player character becomes champion. You are brand new you're brand new. You just turned the age to where you're able to catch Pokemon. And you play the game. I'm not gonna go over the game. You probably seen the gameplay already. But this is just a little theory video. I am gonna talk about the megas at the end. I will, I promise, I swear. But you're playing the game normally. You fight things, you meet, and you hear people bring up this guy that they've been seeing around everywhere. They don't say his name, but they say he has a weird, but he says he has a funny looking Pokemon with him. It looks like an Arcanine, but at the same time it also doesn't. And if you didn't play GA, you don't know it. You just say, oh, okay, weird. But if you have, you know where this is going, and you know I'm probably going with this, so you probably heard like 100 times words. But I want to put my own spin on this. You're playing the game. You keep hear somebody say he had a spirit tomb, and there and no and like I thought Spiritomb was uncatchable. And they're like, he caught him in this weird looking Pokeball. Looks like it's a toy though. You don't you just go on with your day and you don't say anything. Just feeling weirded out by hearing it. As you play the game, as you challenge those trainers, as you fight Indigo's brother, and he said, I lost my brother a long time ago. 10 years ago to be exact, to a wormhole. I don't know what happened. I'm worried about him. The worst thing that could happen is that he died, or he's just someone else in the world and I don't realize it. When you, the like the player outside of the game, has already played Legends Arceus and knows that his Indigo is already in the past with the other player character, Ray, Don, or Lucas as or with their ancestors Ren and Akari. As you go through the game still, you hear this weird guy brought up again. The weird Arcanine guy. You hear he looks like he's related to Cynthia, the champion from Santa. You don't you say weird, must be a relic. As you go on your journey and explore the Kalos region, mainly Lumio City, does Nintendo another one to make another Kalos? Nintendo's not gonna make a Kalos remake. What do you think? You stupid? No, you just get one part of the game. Enjoy it, you whiny bitch. As you explore the beautiful region of Kalos, and as you have fun throughout it, mainly in the city, you go through the wild zone and you pick up an item. You pick up an item. A Zygarde cell. You see somebody come in a hood behind you and say, I've been looking for that everywhere. Do you mind giving it to me? You give him the thing because you're forced to. You don't say anything. He doesn't say his name. He says thank you and he walks away. But as he walks away, you hear him say, Foolish fools, the world will be mine. You don't say anything. You don't question it. As you pursue on with your journey, you beat the champion and you beat the main game. Figuring you find out that the legendary Pokemon Zygarde is in danger and is being corrupted by the new evil team. Team, I don't know what their name is. Something, something, boing, boing, yada, yada. But they are taking control of Zygarde. As their boss is mysteriously, as their boss is wandering around the city, not saying where he is, but just told him, take over Zygarde for me. I'm gonna go out looking for something. As they take over the Zygarde that we see roaming around the city, we already know what happens. We defeat the evil team with the Pokemon that we have, and then randomly appears the two legendaries, Journeys and Yovolkal. They tell they don't speak, but they want you to battle one. They want you to catch them, as one does. You don't. You catch both of them, as they are life and death itself. But they need a middle ground to complete their trio. Obviously, creates it, which is Zygarde. Kind of cool, right? As you beat the main game, as you continue your story, you progress and you just run it, and finally you run into the guy. Finally, after you beat the champion and you become hero, you become champion of Kalos, you run into Bonnie and Clyde randomly. Bonnie, Bonnie now from 6 to 16, and Clyde from 16 to around 26, still running the Lumio City Gym, that he needs help with something. Somebody stole the power from him. You go get it back, and you find it. You find the Ampharos powering the tower in Lumio City. He says thank you, and he gives you an item. An item was that you never knew existed. A Zygarde cell 0 1 Zygarde cell 1%. Where am I going with this? It's pretty obvious. There's another Zygarde out there. He tells you about this other Zygarde and the guy that's looking for him. He says he might be bad or good. He wants you to go help him. Conveniently, he's outside the gym waiting for you. He says, player's name. Hey, my name is Vol. Stops. Then he says, my name is Victor. Hmm, kind of suspicious, right? You help him out, hiding his long, exaggerated hair with something nobody's seen in a while. He hides his hair as he's enjoying his day. As you go help him look around for the Zygarde stuff, and he says, and he talks around during it like, this is bringing me back to times in the when I did this when somebody else helped me a long time ago. Kind of, kind of funny, he says, not knowing. That's revealing there's more about him than meets the eye. As you keep going around the city and finding the stuff that you need, Cynthia appears from Sinnoh, saying, hey, I'm looking for somebody named this, named Volo. Have you seen him? You say no, and you and Victor help her look for him. As he says, he is a bad person trying to take control of the world and make it the perfect world order. To fix the world, he says, which is kind of strange these days. But you put it aside, thinking he's probably talking about King Flare or King Galactus or Giovanni. Obviously, you don't say a thing, and you help her. Meanwhile, Victor is off hiding somewhere, talking to his evil team, being like, Cynthia's here, she knows I'm here. Gotta play it low with the kid. Victor goes back to hang out with you, obviously not knowing that you're with Cynthia. Obviously, you keep looking with the thing. You look for Victor as you're looking for these Zygarde cells with Victor and Cynthia at the same time. Two quests at one. Alright, kinda like that. As you notice that, you hear him you see him fighting somebody with a strange looking Pokemon. An Arcanine. Not a normal Arcanine. This Arcanine looks like it's orange and gray. The fur is not the pretty white that you have normally heard of Arcanine having. This legendary Pokemon having rocks and a beautiful white coat or mane. Strange, right? Very, very strange indeed. You don't say anything. Cynthia doesn't know either. Cynthia says you must be related to must be related to somebody from his sewer. See, he says I was my great grandma. Very nice lady. Look, this is my grandpa's Arcanine. He's spinning. He gave him to me before he died. He said he trusted me with him, as he knows he would be loyal to me. You battle Volo for fun, because he asked for it. Like, let's have a friendly battle. Spell your name. So you do. You have a friendly battle with Volo, and he says, very interesting, as he's jotting down notes. As he keeps going along and finding stuff, he keeps revealing a little bit about himself. And finally, we find the last Jaguar cell. The last 50%, I'd say, of Zygarde number 2, of the main Zygarde, because he only caught one half of it. You find the other Zygarde, and he's like, can I see it? You mind pulling it up so we can bring them together to make a full, to make Zygarde form 100%. You do what he says, and he's like, fullest human. The Zygardes combine, becoming 100%, and he says, Zygarde is now taking off his hat, revealing he is none other than Volo. Sophia says, this is where you've been. You were we were working with you the entire time. He says, yes, you have. And this is your and now I get to rule the world like I should have done hundreds of years ago. You are utterly confused, and he tells you his backstory. He said long ago, back in the day, he said long ago, he discovered time travel with foremost. He wanted to meet Arceus in person, to meet him, to become God, become the ruler of the world, of Hitsui, of modern day Sinnoh. But no, Arceus chose the player character, Akari or Ren, depending on your agenda and depending on your save data from the last game. Yes, it is going to connect. Yes, it is connected to the last game with your save data. It shows you catching Arceus and meeting him like you are related to them or something. As you do that, you realize Volo said, I'm not going to lose this opportunity again. Use Zygarde against you, but Cynthia appeared to forget something, telling her to go run and warn people of Lumio City. You go do that, but you realize all the evil team are already taking control of the city and boarding people up. The only people that aren't hidden, only people that have gotten away are obviously AG. It's surprising, I know. It's Floet and your friends in the game, plus with the professor and his research partner, your mom and Clement and Bond, all hiding together, saying we have to defeat Volo. As you tell them what's going on, they understand. They help along with the team as you keep going and they keep helping you. You see Cynthia trying for her life to beat him, but Volo is just too strong and beats Cynthia. He says, "Come on, let's fight." As you fight with your team, he says, he says, he says, this character, he says, they you're as hard as Sam. I'm gonna have fun. As he pulls out his 7 Pokemon, which would be 100% form Zygarde, you are worried, but you beat them in the end. And Zygarde wimps out and becomes the two forms again, the two 50% forms. One goes to you, the other runs to fire. Volo gets mad and says, I tried. I guess there's always a next time, and the next 400 years. He walks away and disappears out of the room, and drops something. He drops something that says, though he drops something called my called time travel, called time paradox node, explained by Volo. You read the book, and you understand that there are such a thing as time rifts that Arceus uses to pick certain people. He created one of those himself, just so it's him to go back in time. It ended up working, and now he's trying his hardest to meet Arceus and capture and become ruler of the world. It works, as he said in his journal, and even though it didn't. He lies. He comes back to the present and said, I gotta go. I'll wait 10 years. 10 years for a kiss. 10 more years. As he does, he learns that Lumio City has a Pokemon called Zygarde, creator of life and balance out of the three Pokemon, out of its trio. He creates the, I don't really know what it's called, but I'm gonna call it the Creation Trio. As the trio of Pokemon are obviously, well, creators of life, death, and humanity. And even though I think that's taken by the Medford, you've seen mixed in the other one, but I don't know. But something's real. As you do that, you beat the main game in the post game. Credits play again, but this time at the end, you see Volo heading to another region. He says, time to go somewhere tropical and sunny. Maybe the four legendaries will be mine this time. Game ends. That's my little Pokemon theory on how I think the game will go. I'm most likely wrong, but this is a fun video to make. My opinions on the Megas that we have so far that got revealed, they're okay. They're cool. Mega Malamar could have been better. Mega Dragonite sucks ass. I wish it looked cooler and more scary and cute. Because of them are supposed to be in pain. Like, oh, I look, that's really cute Pokemon. I mean, you know what? I have been meant to a physical pain, and my body wants to die of me. And Mega Victor, I find it stupid. I love it. I think that's all I gotta say. Hopefully, you liked this little video of me explaining Pokemon and my ranting. Hopefully, you'll come back to see more. And, and if you enjoyed the video, let me know. Tell me what I should talk about next time. Later, you beautiful, beautiful people. Papa Meat got a good snack for you. Yes, I do. Papa Meat never let the meat go running.